Hey YouTube, welcome to another celebrity birthday video. And this one is going to be the last Super Smash Bros. Announcer. And that's mainly because so far there hasn't been any more. Mainly because, like I said in Xander Mobus' video, that he reprised his role in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So yeah. And this one is actually one that I've known for years. Mainly because he's been in shows that have been a little local to me. So yeah. Pretty interesting to bring this one up, especially considering that, like I said, I'm pretty local for this one. So it's a good to do something like that, considering this isn't the first time I've done it, but yeah. And so here we go. Today is September 16th, 2021, which means it's the 71st birthday for Pat Cashman. He was in Peculiar Playhouse, Pandora's Clock, Amazing Planet, Biz Kids, Still the 206, Up Late MW, and Z Nation. And that's not very much for someone like Pat, but there's a lot to discuss in this one because I heard a lot of interesting facts, including that he did a lot of local TV shows in Seattle, which is pretty close to where I live, although it's a little farther. In fact, the only times we ever go there is whenever we visit my mom's friend Kim. And we kind of, the last time we went there was for a party, and it was quite nice. But of course it was just a party, so nothing major. But it was great. It was really fun to kind of go back to a place like Seattle. And yeah, that was actually something I wanted to bring up in this video, since I do live in the middle part of Washington, all the way in the deserted area. It's not that big of a desert, though, and it's not even much of a desert. It does snow here at times, but only during the winter as usual. And of course you probably would be asking, do you know of Almost Live or Bill Nye the Science Guy? Well, yes, I have heard of Almost Live, but I never watched it though. But my mom did say that she actually did watch it before and she loved it. And I had a feeling she would, because I actually did watch a couple of interviews that Pat appeared in, and he has a really good sense of humor. And he also appeared in Bill Nye the Science Guy, that I already know. I actually watched a couple of episodes myself when I was little, back when I was in elementary school. Another time, it was during the time I was in high school during freshman science. And because of that, it's become one of my best subjects in school. And besides that, I also know him for being the announcer in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which is probably one of my favorite games in the series. Because after all, it was the first game to introduce third-party characters, such as Sonic the Hedgehog from the Sonic series, as well as Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. And it was quite a coincidence for someone like Pat Cashman to be hired to be the announcer, because there's one interesting thing about Nintendo. Their American headquarters is all the way in Redmond, which is not far from Seattle. So hiring someone that's local, that's actually quite fitting. Even if it wasn't even being recorded for Super Smash Bros. Brawl in Japan. But of course, this still led to it being very popular. A lot of people even say that they actually thought it was cool to have someone like Pat Cashman appear. I'm especially happy he did, because being someone who's more local, it just feels as if he's actually there announcing the whole thing near me. But of course he's not. Just kind of felt that way when I first found this fact. So yeah, I had a pretty weird mind when I was a kid, and I still do, so yeah. But really, it's just who I am. And he's also describes a lot of things that happened during his time recording as the announcer and being the voice of Master Hand and Crazy Hand. He's like, he remembers that he did record a lot of voices of himself for unused characters, including ones that were originally gonna appear but were decided to be scrapped. And of course, there were a lot of delays for Super Smash Bros. Brawl because Nintendo had a lot of problems, such as the fact that they had to deal with some issues around the creators of each of the third-party characters, including Sega for Sonic and Konami for Solid Snake. That was mainly because originally Nintendo didn't want Sonic to be in Smash, and nobody ever knew why. Especially since Nintendo and Sega were going through their partnership still. So yeah. But afterwards they agreed and finally Sonic was added. And Konami went through the same thing until Nintendo changed their minds and added Solid Snake. Another thing he remembered is that during his recording as the announcer, it was a little uncomfortable for him at first. It was mainly because the recording studio he was at was kind of had a studio that recorded voices that had a really tiny space, kind of like the size of a coffin. And Pat has a bit of claustrophobia, which means fear of narrow spaces. And really, I can't blame him there. But yeah, he had to get up and kind of go to the bathroom and stuff like that. And he even said that he wished he would have recorded his voices in the bathroom. And it makes me think, you can't really do that. That sounds a little awkward. I mean, the bathroom is for personal business. So yeah, it still makes me laugh, though. After all, like I said, Pat Cashman has quite a sense of humor. And finally, Source Gaming even found out what his favorite character was. And yes, this is how I got all this information from each of the announcers. Pat mentioned that his favorite character is Pit, because he could fly anywhere, including to the mall, which I thought was really funny. And also because the name Pit almost sounds like Pat, only with one letter short. With Pit having an I instead of an A, which still makes me laugh that Pat mentioned that. So yeah, really clever to think of that. I wonder what Lonnie Manila would have thought of that. And yes, Lonnie voiced Pit back then, up until someone else voiced Pit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, as well as Icarus Uprising, and of course Super Smash Bros. 4. So Pat Cashman, I hope you have a great birthday, and of course, I hope you continue on with having a great time of ever doing any voice work, especially as an announcer. And of course, stay safe and stay aware. Otherwise, you probably would get sick, of course. So yeah, happy birthday. And these are some of the mains from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And of course, don't judge me of any of the other characters there. King DDD, Snake, Sonic.